Okay, guys. Happy to have Brandon from BIS Rugby with me. This also might go on Brandon's channel if he wants to put it on there, of course. But we're just gonna. We were meant to do something last week, but we've had some technical difficulties in getting this up and running. We finally sorted it, so we hopefully this will last long enough to not shut down on us. But
Yeah,
we're just gonna basically just go through the weekend's games of Six Nations, talk about how we think each game went, maybe do try of the weekend, player of the weekend. Brandon's camera crashed.
there we go. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, so basically do try of the weekend, play of the weekend, and we'll see how we go from there. Okay, so first up, Brandon, you want to talk about France versus Wales? How do you think it went for you guys? A bit lucky, weren't you?
Just a little bit. Really a tale of two halves. First half, I've been watching Wales, the same to you before, for 15 years, and I don't think I've seen such contrasting two halves. First half, the conditions didn't help, let's be honest, and they didn't suit our halfbacks especially. But there's no excuse for not being able to catch the ball, for being offside, for throwing passes forward in ways that we were doing. France really impressed me in that first half. I don't think we've seen France play like that for a very long time, and France being France were unpredictable, so we just didn't know what was going to happen with France. But first half, all credit to them. They came out firing. Huget on the wing or fullback played fantastic. Lopez at 10 dictated the game. Their pack was enormous and had a big effect in the first 20 minutes or so. And we just couldn't retain possession. But one thing that stood out to me was one time that we kept possession, we went through the phases, we sort of scored a try with Liam Williams. So it was kind of telling me that in the second half, if we can keep the ball and go through the phases, we should come good. But if I'm being honest with you, at half time, would I have said that we were going to win? Probably not, to be honest.
And I mostly agree with you. I think, I mean, like you said, Wales were really slow out the blocks in the first half. It was quite surprised. I mean, I don't know if surprised is the right word, but it was. I mean, well, is the right word. That just how quiet your pack was in the first half for the most of the time. Just didn't really get anything, and I didn't see anyone apart from Josh Navidi make any serious impact up front at all.
Yeah.
And Liam Williams was your best player definitely, because I think whenever he got the ball, he looked like he was going to do something in either half really. But yeah, the first half, like say, just seemed to let France get away, run riot. Really, I mean that the first try was came from a drop ball from you guys, and then France basically powered through and Pickamall got his try. And then the
Yeah.
second one was just really poor judgment from George North more than anything. I mean, it was a good offload from Ituria, sorry, to Uge, but George absolutely really misread that, like, which is really a rookie mistake because if he just stayed on Uge would have flattened him and it wouldn't have been a try, and he just absolutely really misread that, and that was the try there. And if Para had had his kicking boots on, France would have been further in front. But Anscombe wasn't really any better either. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
still really.
yeah, I didn't actually think overall he had any worse a game than anyone else. It was just his goal kicking was really bad in the first half. But because there's not much your halfbacks can do when your pack aren't giving you a platform, or when you're making that many errors.
Well, yeah, he unfortunately has been like the scapegoat, really,
Yeah, that's
of half, and I think unfairly. And I personally would give him the number 10 jersey against Italy because one, it's Italy, and to be honest, I think Gatland has set in stone that he wants Anscombe as his 10 for the World Cup. So to not give him the jersey now would be ridiculous. It'd be stupid to do it because it dents his confidence, everything that we've worked up until now to get him to this position of having the jersey, it'd just be all thrown away. And it just seems pointless to do that. Bigger is a brilliant option off the bench, and there's part of me which against England might want to see bigger starts
Mm-hmm.
because of the physical battle that it's going to be. So it is going to be
Yeah, I
really
mean, a
physical.
lot of it depends what sort of game you want to play. Because I'd say for if you're wanting to play a bit wider and a bit spread the ball a bit more, I think Anscombe is definitely the best option. He can bring bigger off the bench in the last 20 minutes just to steady the ship.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, they did on Friday night. When I thought like Hughes definitely looked a lot steadier when Bigger came on.
Yeah.
And he did his job from 10. Like from there. But like I said, it just depends what sort of game you want to play and how the game is going generally. So I think as to whether you'd start Anscombe or Bigger. I think I do agree with you against. I think maybe Dan Bigger for the World Cup might be the best option for number 10 for you.
Oh, I'm not sure. I think the thing I love about Anscombe is his want to go forward and to try and attack, and he is our best attacking fly half. There's no doubt about it.
Mhm.
You got Jared Evans down at the Cardiff Blues. He's just not ready for this level. Pat Shaw's been injured for a long time, so for him to have him come in and do something then Bigger just doesn't really offer that much going forward. For the World Cup, I'd like to see Anscombe given the shirt.
Well, again, it
That's
just
fine.
in World Cup games, because most World Cup games are tight affairs and they're decided by slim margins. So someone like Bigger might be a better option there. But again, it all depends on what sort of game Gatland wants you to play. I think definitely. But I do agree with you that Anscombe should start again against Italy, just to get his confidence back up again, to get him, believing again, and to show what he can do. And I think it will be. I mean, to my knowledge, it'll be a drier day as well. I think the wet weather didn't help yous at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think you can use that. I mean, I personally don't think that's always an excuse because it's the same for both teams. So I think that's always a bit weak to use that as an excuse. Just means you didn't adapt to the conditions well enough. But yeah, I mean, I thought you were lucky, to be honest, in the second half. I mean, it was a great piece of play by Josh Adams, to be fair, for your first try, because it was great vision. He saw it like 5 forwards, but still a really poor tackle by Willemse, the French second row, because that was just a one.
Well, Justin Tipuric's a bit naughty there. I don't know if you saw it. Holding back Para, I think it was.
Oh, was he? I
So
did not see that.
It just very slightly, just arm across him,
what-
so he couldn't quite get through.
It's what all good number 7s do, mate. So
Yeah. I mean, if Para really wanted to get there, I think he could have, but Tipuric was very clever. The ref didn't see it, Wayne Barnes didn't see it. But the thing is, that's all we needed. We needed someone just to run at them and have a go, not try and throw the conditions weren't right to throw the ball about all the time. We just needed someone to directly run at them and have a go.
Yeah,
And lazy defending from France. But then that really, from then on I was like, all right, France now, they're either going to implode, which the French typically do in a rugby match, or they're going to just shut up shop. And both of those two things are awful things to do against us. So,
I mean, I think it was just.
comfortable.
Yeah, sorry, I just think it was, like I said, it was just smart play from Adams. He spotted there was all forwards there just around the ruck, so he exploited that. And then, I mean, there was no excuse for the Willemse missing the tackle, but still, Adams has a good step on him, and then he got away and passed it to Thomas Williams, obviously. Good try. The second one and the third one, France handed it to you. They just fucking handed it. I mean, there's no excuses from Uge there. That's just like pure concentration. You just gotta, I don't care how wet the weather is. Those balls at that level, you should be just catching them. And he failed to do that. And George North, to be fair to him, capitalised, and that was a try. And then the next one, France throwing it wide like that off slow ball. That was just absolutely it was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Exactly. It was madness to try it. The pass sort of was on, but there was just a much simpler pass to do.
Well, no, it was just because it was off.
1-on-1.
Well, sorry, it's just because it was off slow ball. It was just off. You don't play like that off slow ball. And you're 2 points ahead. Just chunk it up, try and make a few gains lines. But to go wide like that was just suicide. And to be honest, I'd say France hand it to you. But if you're playing rugby that suicidal in that tight a game, then you deserve what you get. To be honest.
And the fact was that we'd given a load of penalties away all through the match. I think we gave about 10 penalties away, or 9 in the first half. And if France had gone through the phases there, as you say, I'm sure they'd have got a penalty or an option to do a drop goal, because Lopez showed his ability to do a drop goal. I thought his first drop goal, I thought that was a brilliant one from so far out, conditions and everything. So I just thought it was crazy to try it. But George North, fair play, he had to go for it. And if he hadn't judged it right, it'd have looked like a muppet, because they'd have been in the corner.
Yeah.
So he judged it perfectly. But yeah, France, I mean, their coaching staff must be scratching their heads thinking, what else can we do? There's nothing else we can do. You know, we've given them the platform in the first half, and then, in the second half, they just handed it to us. We were very, very lucky. Really lucky.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, I thought your defence was a lot better in the second half, so fair play to you for, pushing up a bit more. I thought at the breakdown, you were a lot better as well, made a lot more of an impact, but that's the thing, like, from France's perspective, in that situation, when it's slow ball, I mean, even if you, like, get caught isolated and give a penalty away or whatever, you just, it's still Wales have got to kick the ball, like, 60 yards downfield to actually make any impact. So, just keep it tight in the forwards. It's just,
Play simple.
Yeah.
But that's the problem with France. Always, they want to play this flamboyant, throw-it-about style. But it's about game management, isn't it?
Well,
that's the thing.
I don't know. I thought, but that's the thing. They seem to balance that pretty well in the first half. They seem to balance like chunking it up through the forwards and using the back line and so it was but it was just in the second half it just seemed to fall to pieces for them, and I don't know what they were playing that half the time, but
no. It was just very strange. It was so contrasting. But for me, the positive is that we can win ugly. Not that, I was listening to another podcast earlier today, and they were asking the question, was it France that handed Wales the victory, or was it Wales that won the match? And I think it's a bit of both. More France, probably. But the thing is, we can win ugly. We can know that we can play really crap in the first half, but in the second half, we know we have the quality. And going through the phases, yes, France did hand it to us, but it means that next week I expect us to absolutely smash Italy. I do expect us to smash them. Yeah. But if things get tight, we know that we've got the quality to finish the game off.
Well, I mean, I think you will beat Italy with a bonus point next week. No doubt of that. I think actually Italy will give you a bit of a game maybe in the first half for the first 60 minutes. Then you'll expect you to pull away. Yeah. But I mean, like I said, at least she's showing you can win ugly, and as Gatland said, you seem to have forgotten how to lose right now. And when you're winning that, when you're on that much of a roll, it does become a habit. So even when you're playing badly, so I think that's definitely one thing definitely a big thing. So it's a massive thing you can take from the game. Yeah. Just even if you didn't play well, you're off to a winning start. You need to keep that up, and if you can go into the game against England with a lot of confidence actually, and then go from there really. So
yeah,
and I will say if you smash England, I will be absolutely fucking petrified if you come into Murrayfield after that. So
you know what? I actually think that us going to Murrayfield could be the toughest match. I think that. England at home, we have a decent record at home against England, and
you haven't really beaten them at Cardiff since 2013, though, have you?
Well, no, not since 2013. But I believe that at home, I think we can beat anyone at home.
Yeah.
But maybe 10 years ago, going up to Murrayfield was a given win in the Six Nations for us. But now, I mean, in the autumn, I thought we were really lucky to beat you. You threw so many chances away. And it was always the final pass that was lacking in your performance. So at home, for you, I think it could be a really close. I think it'll be really, really close. Maybe trying it, if that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I prefer to see how we do in our next two games before making too many comments on that. So I think, like I said, going forwards, I think we just touched on this anyway, that I think, you've shown you can win ugly, you're off to a winning start, and that's a big thing at the start of the championship. You need to make sure you win your first game, or you win one of your first two games, obviously, and go roll from there. Okay, so we move on to anything else you want to say on the France Wales game, or
Just feel very lucky. That's all.
fair enough, fair enough.
Very lucky.
Okay, we'll move on to Scotland Italy now.
Yeah.
I think happy enough with the win. We down tools in the last 10-15 minutes. Let them back for three. Two of them very soft tries. I thought the first one they got was actually pretty well worked, and we were down to 14 men when they scored it. So I can give Italy credit for that. And but on the whole, we won convincingly, but still left plenty of chances out there. There's still things in our game we need to work on, especially at the breakdowns and making sure we're more efficient in beating the basics and more coherent in game management. I thought our kicking game was mostly pretty good, but there were times when we kicked it ball away and I thought we could have really had a gone at the Italians. I think Jeremy Guscott touched on that actually in his post-match analysis. As much as I don't like him, he was actually right in that a couple of times we did kick the ball away where we should have really gone at them out wide. But I thought plenty of positives to take. I thought Finn Russell on the whole had a very good game and showed
Fantastic.
Yeah,
He was brilliant.
yeah, really. I mean, I think going to France has really helped him. Really helped. I think he's definitely matured and he's getting the balance better of when to play it safe and when to go for something inventive or play into it. I thought Sam Johnson had a very good debut as well. Showed he can be he's a good crasher. He's got a decent step on him. He passed when needed as well, and he made his tackles. I thought he was very good introduction for us and could be our 12 going forward if he stays fit and in form, of course. And that's mostly what I've got to say. Just happy enough we got the bonus point early, but we slacked off a bit towards the end, so that needs to be addressed. You see also that try at the end Stuart Hogg had disallowed. The referee has now apologised for it because he admitted he got that wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, I think your performance in general was pretty dominating. I expected it, to be honest, especially being at home.
Mm-hmm.
Finn Russell just ran the show, and you did miss a few opportunities. Kinghorn had one chance to pass it out to Hogg right at the start, which he didn't, and tried to go himself. But overall, a really good performance, except for that last 10 minutes. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's not great, and Gregor Townsend will be frustrated with it, but it doesn't matter that much because you were down to 14 men. Italy had nothing to lose in the last 10 minutes, and you'd won the game, and you knew you'd won the game. At half-time, though, it was only 12-3, I think you were.
Yeah, we should have been further in front then.
So if it was a better quality side, then maybe you'd be a bit more worried about that. But you're creating plenty of chances. As you said, Sam Johnson hit some of the lines he picked, and some of the times he got over the gain line gave you a great platform to then go and attack. But we have to talk about Italy, about how poor they were, especially defensively.
Mm-hmm.
And especially at the breakdown, was it Luke Pearce who was the ref, or was that the England one?
Yeah,
Luke Pearce.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was always screaming and shouting, balls out, balls out. And yet Italy would just stand there and watch.
Aye.
And I don't know if they didn't understand what he meant, but they just stand there and watch.
Mm-hmm.
And Scotland would get the ball and you'd be on another attack.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing once Givaldini trying to stop Kinghorn in a 5-metre sprint. I thought, this is ridiculous. You should not be this far out. Yeah, Italy were poor, but it was nice to see them at the end actually throwing the ball a bit about. But yeah, I think it was a good performance from you guys. I'd be very happy with the performance. But just little things need tweaking before Ireland come to you.
I'd say a few big things need tweaking because but that thing at the end, you say it doesn't really matter too much, and I suppose in the context of the game itself, we'd won it anyway, and you can say that, but. Yeah. In general, teams like you guys, like England, Ireland, New Zealand, even South Africa to an extent, if they're in that position, they do not let teams come back into it. 33-3, they go and kill those kind of games they're that far in front of, and put on like 40 or 50 points, whereas we just, I thought, slacked off a wee bit too much and allowed them a few chances at the end, which, to be fair to the Italians, they did, when they threw the ball about, they did look quite good, but we allowed them far too much space out wide for those tries. So that's something we need to look at, and there's quite a few big things I think we need to improve for against Ireland, because Ireland will be absolutely will be a wounded animal, so they'll be absolutely desperate to take out their frustrations on us, which I'm somewhat fearful for, but also somewhat interested to see how we will cope with it, because I think England definitely showed how they can how Ireland can be played against, and they can be countered on, which I've not actually got that much more to say about us. Just we need to make sure we improve for next week. We need to make sure we're a lot more efficient and that we're smarter next week, and that we're keeping up over 80 minutes, because we won't, because if we have any lapses or give Ireland anything cheap, we're going to be in trouble. So, but that's all I've really got to say about our game. So.
No, I was pretty impressed by you overall, and I think you will be better for Ireland, but it's going to be obviously a much tougher test, and everyone knows that. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm expecting Ireland to come out and absolutely pumped, and they're just, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like 5 injuries in the first 30 minutes, because they're just going to try and absolutely smash us back at every turn. So, I mean, hopefully, I'm not saying hopefully there won't be, of course, but I just hope we can be smart enough. Yeah, I just hope we can be smart enough and make sure that we've got, if we're going forward, we make sure we've got the platform before we spread the ball wide, because we still sometimes have that habit of trying to spread the ball wide a bit too early at times, and there's other times like we need to just make sure we're being patient a bit and make sure we're sucking the defenders and that we're over the gain line before we put the ball out for the likes of Finn Russell and Hugh Jones and that to do their stuff. So that's one area we need to make sure we get it right against Ireland, definitely. But I think that can bring us on to the Ireland-England game. Don't think anyone saw that result coming.
Massive game, massive results for the tournament as a whole. I was actually chatting to someone a few days before the game, and I said to them, when England have a poor year the year before, they tend to do quite well the next year. And when Eddie Jones came in for the first time, they had a bad... after the World Cup?
Yeah, just after the World Cup, yeah. And
then they come and win a Grand Slam. I'm not saying they're going to win a Grand Slam, and I pray they're not going to win a Grand Slam.
Same.
But they were so impressive physically. They obviously targeted Sexton, just went at him every single time. Tuolangi crashing into him, getting quick ball. Ben Youngs, with his box kicking, we were talking before about this, he was exceptional, I thought.
Yeah, he was.
And targeting Robbie Henshaw. It wasn't that Henshaw played badly, it was that the kicks were just to such a level that they would pinpoint accuracy. Johnny May under the high ball, I thought he played really well, put in a lot of work. England ought to be feared, I'd have to say. What about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think I said this to you last week. I thought that they would try and play that style of rugby. I was expecting them to be, with likes of Vunipola and Manu and Mark Wilson just like powering up the middle and trying to counter, because the Irish rush defence, they like to sprint on the wide men, which worked against New Zealand, because obviously New Zealand like to put a bit of air on the ball, but I thought England were just going to try and power through the middle before spreading it wide, but I did also think Ireland would eventually have a bit of nous to see the game out and win it, but the way England just absolutely powered through them, and the way they defended, I think Ireland only had about 5 line breaks in the whole match, which is a bloody impressive feat for one half. Bloody impressive feat. You normally see like at least 5 line breaks per team in one half in a lot of games. So that was in England's defence, and their breakdown work and ferocity of how they brought the game. I was actually surprised that like a lot of the game Ireland just seemed to be shell shocked, and they just seemed to be rusty and not really like up to it. I mean, as you say, they targeted Sexton. That was always going to happen. But he seemed because he seemed more rattled by it than he normally is. Because teams normally do, if they have a big centre or big back row players, they normally just barge up and try and target him, but he's normally very robust to it. He normally handles it pretty well, but he was surprisingly poor for his standards on Saturday. And I thought Conor Murray also looked very, very rusty. He looked a pale shadow of the player he was last year.
He didn't have an impact on the game at all. I don't think so. He
No.
didn't do much. I can't recall anything that he
Well,
did.
he mostly just kicked he just box kicked most of the time. That's all I remember him doing. And but yeah, and then obviously the pressure told, and then Ireland making silly mistakes that you wouldn't expect them to make, and that was the game really. What did you think of the Henry Slade's first try? I thought he was slightly in front of Johnny May when he kicked the ball.
My first reactions was that he was in front. Looking at it a second time, I think he was just on, literally millimeters on. I hate to say,
I still think he was just in. I still think, yeah. I mean, I think that's where the TMO would, because the post-match things, they have those lines that go across, they just draw the lines onto the screen. I think it would be handy if the TMO actually had that, or at least use that. They have it already as well, and just put a line across just to make sure they're on side. I don't know if they do. I don't really see it getting used. But it would be good if they did. And I thought Slade's feet were just in front of May as he kicked the ball. I wasn't too sure about the pass either, which it was forward or not. I thought I was just in line, but no, I was. But I mean, aside from that, I can't say England didn't deserve to win at all, because they were completely on top, and they just played a really, really strong match. Henry Slade, I think, is really impressive at 13. Aside from that, he was really impressive at 13. And to be honest, I'm a bit surprised he wasn't really an England regular sooner, because he's been around for a few years, and he's shown for Exeter what a really talented centre he is, and he can play 10 as well. But he's a really talented centre.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why I'm surprised he's come in a bit later under Eddie Jones. I think more because of Jonathan Joseph's injury, but I think Slade, if he keeps this form up, he's definitely nailed the 13 jersey for England.
Yeah, and I think that England's tactic was really simple. Bully them physically, but also strangle them so that they couldn't move out of their own 22. And I think the last try for Slade just really what's the word I'm looking for? It just summed up the whole match.
Absolutely.
With Sexton throwing the pass in his own 22, not reaching the man, Slade intercepts it, and he falls over, but he still's got time to get up and dive over. And they just kept pushing them into the corner. As I said, Ben Young's kicks were brilliant. And the line speed of the defence from England, and they were having impactful hits. That was the thing. Really impactful, really pushing them back most of the time. So where the gain line was maybe 5 metres in front of the Irish, it was now they've been pushed back 10 metres instead of 5 metres, and they just couldn't build up the momentum. And England were just, wouldn't say fitter, but I'd say it seemed like they were more up for it. They were there to prove people wrong. They had nothing to lose because nobody expected them to win. So
they just look sharper. They just look more mentally on it. They just look stronger. They just look like in every department they just outplayed Ireland. I think Ireland were just shell shocked at what was coming and what came at them, especially, and the impact was set very early on with that try. I think because when they caught him with surprise by throwing the ball at the back to Tuolangi, and he just smashed up, and they just went from there. And I think that was really set the tone for the match, just how it went for the rest of the game. And that's all I've got to say really. Just I thought England were really good, looking a dangerous team again, and I'm confident they're going to beat France next week on their home turf. I think that game might be a bit closer than people think it will. Think it will be, because I think England will have a bit of a and this me stereotyping, but I'll say it anyway. A bit of English arrogance about them after beating Ireland. So I think that France will. I don't think France will beat them, but I think they'll maybe surprise them a bit, and but England will just come through and win in the end. So I think it's making for a exciting Six Nations to see.
Yeah, definitely. I think also one thing about Ireland to point out was, yes, we're talking about them being rusty and not looking like they were up to it, but they just didn't seem to have a plan B.
No.
They you just had nothing. They were like, England are coming up to us and hitting us hard and off the defensive line quickly, and yet there was nothing. And one thing I was a bit surprised was that Sexton didn't kick a little bit more, because England were coming up quick. The defence was coming up quick. A little kick over the top might have had an impact,
Yeah.
but obviously looking back, it's easy to say that.
The thing is, Joe Schmidt doesn't like that kind of tactic though, because
Yeah.
it's. I mean, I can understand why, but there are some times like when your back's against the wall and the game's not going your way, you have to try a bit of a risk like that. But
Yeah,
generally,
territory. Yeah, Ireland didn't play the territory game at all.
no, they
You
didn't
know,
play
if
it
you're
well.
in your own
No.
22, if you're in your own 22 and you've seen throughout the game how England are smashing through you, maybe even if you're giving the ball back to them on their own 22, at least you're in a place where maybe at the breakdown you can try and turn it over or something like that. But you know, it was a really tough day for Ireland, and as you said, it really opens up the Six Nations. Wales have won, Scotland have won, and England have won. And you say Wales and England have winnable games in the next round, and who knows with Ireland coming up to Scotland, you just don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like I said before, I'm pretty nervous, but I'm also cautiously optimistic that we can beat them, because we've seen now how Ireland can be beaten, and if they don't have they've only got a week turnaround, and they've a week to turn it around, and they've got a few injuries as well. You see that story about Stander, actually? Apparently he went onto the pitch with his eye socket injured and all that. It was like,
Cheekbone or something. He had a broken cheekbone, didn't he, or something like that?
yeah,
as well?
yeah, and he ended up playing. On his own perspective, that's really brave. But I mean, from the coaching and the medical perspective of the Irish team, I think that's a really poor reflection on them, because they should be at this level with how physical it is. They should be protecting their players better than that, in my opinion. Anyway.
Yeah. But no, what a great weekend of rugby. Yeah, and I think that with the games coming up now, I think opportunity for us, Wales, first of all, to go and beat Italy quite comfortably. And then obviously France, England, as you say, I think will be closer than people think. And if I was a Scottishman, I would be like, not confident of winning, but I think you've got a chance. So yeah, it should be a good weekend.
Yeah. I mean, I know a few of my Scots mates have said, "Oh, we'll be fine. We'll win. It's at Murrayfield, fine." But I mean, it's me being who I am. I'm always cautiously optimistic. I try to be anyway, because I know Ireland are going to bring a backlash. It's like how we handle it, and if we're going to be smart enough to counter it and make sure that we manage the game really well as well, and know when to keep it tight, know when to spread it, and which Finn Russell, as I said, has been doing a lot better. But it'll be different opponents next week. So, pardon me. Hopefully, he gets that balance right against a much better team playing against us next week. Anyway, do you want to do the try of the weekend?
Okay.
And I would say I'd probably say actually England's first try, which is well worked.
Okay. I would say that France's second try was very good. Really good ball handling skills. And Kinghorn's, was it his first try with the cross kick from Finn Russell?
Yeah, that
Just
was a good one as
individual
well.
skill from Russell. Because the Italian line were coming up to him quite quick, but then they kind of stopped, and he realised, oh, there's so much space out to the left, and it was just inch perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, Finn Russell for me. Finn Russell.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Kinghorn's try. Kinghorn's try. That's which one I'm going for.
All right. Fair enough. I just went for the Johnny May's first try, because I kind of try and like to appreciate the little things that happen in the game. Whereas like most casual folks would look for the maverick, innovative stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's just a matter of opinion, really. I'd go for just of how well worked it was from the line out, and then how England managed to secure the ball, get over the gain line, and then quickly got it out to May to score in the corner. So that's why I picked that try. But I can totally accept your one. So.
No, I'll have George North's first try. Brilliant piece of skill from George North.
Oh yeah, just pick it up and dive over. That's.
Yeah, exactly. The thing was, Hadley Parks' kick was woeful. It was so bad.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was an awful kick. I was like, what are you doing?
And
But
then
fair play to North for chasing it and not giving up on it.
yeah,
We could easily have just said, well, he's got it, so there's no point.
so player of the weekend, you got yours.
I think Manu's up there. I think he had a huge impact. Mako Vunipola as well for England. Thought he had an incredible match.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? I'd say Finn Russell again. Thought he was fantastic. But I'm going to go Mako. Mako Vunipola. Thought he was brilliant. And very unlucky not to have a try. I agree with the TMO decision.
Yeah.
That it was a double movement. But he had such an amazing game. And I heard a stat that I think he got 19 out of 20 tackles.
No, it was 23 tackles in 60 minutes, which is incredible effort. So, yeah, I'd actually agree with you as well. I'm going to say Mako Vunipola as well, just because of that tackle count for a prop and his carrying as well, and his work rate around the pitch was absolutely incredible. For 60 minutes he played, so yeah, I think we're both agreeing on that. And so I think we've touched on bits and pieces of it going into next weekend. It'll be very interesting. I think safe to say can predict wins for Wales and England against Italy and France, and we'll see about the other game.
Yeah, exactly. We'll talk about that later in the week, though. So
yeah, sounds good, man.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, is there anything else you want to talk about just now, or?
I think that's it. Yeah, I think. Actually, one thing. I think that the ref for Scotland Italy, except for the one mistake that he made, I think he had a really good game.
Yeah, he did.
And
yeah.
I think we slate refs a lot when they make mistakes, but when they actually do something well, I think it's right to say that they've done a good job. I thought his communication, that's why I love Nigel Owens. He's very clear. And I think Luke Pearce was really clear throughout the match, but that's just me, being a bit weird like that.
No, I get. Yeah, I actually think all the refs had a pretty good game.
Yeah.
I know there's a few Irish folk that won't thank me for saying that about Jerome Garcia's, because I think him and the TMO made a mistake with the Slade try, but apart from that, he was, for the most part, apart from a few wee things, he was mostly spot on. Luke Pearce, he apologised for that mistake, by the way. I don't know if you read about that. So I appreciate refs who can actually have the balls to publicly say, I got that one wrong. And it's like, it's fine, appreciate it, you made a mistake. And luckily it didn't have a big impact on the result, otherwise I might be saying differently. I thought Wayne Barnes, I know everyone hates Wayne Barnes, but I mean, I thought he had a good game on Friday night as well, so didn't really see him do much wrong. No. Despite some of the complaining from your fellow Welshmen on various forums and such, but
yeah, no, I thought he had a good game, and I thought he was very wise after the Liam Williams try where he was unsure. He stepped in front of Anscombe, in front of the ball, to make sure he couldn't kick it. I thought that was a really clever little thing to do, and he wasn't being affected by the crowd or by players or anything. He was like, no, I want to check this, and he got the decision right. So
I think he did. So, but I think that's I think your biggest positive from Wales's perspective, bit positive I have to say is Liam Williams at fullbacks. I thought he looked really good. It's why I picked him in my team of the weekend over Stuart Hogg at fullback, but. Which is a rarity for me because I'm biased, but
no, not at all.
So that's.
I was going to say I'll hold my hands up as well.
Okay, I think that's pretty much all we can cover. Yeah. So, I think we can do another one later in the week if you want.
Sounds good.
Okay, cool stuff. Good to do this podcast. Glad we finally got round to doing it after all the technical difficulties of the previous ones. Hopefully we won't have them again. And take care, guys, and catch you later on. And catch you later, Brandon.
See ya. Take care.
Yeah.
Enjoyed this one.
Yeah, good stuff.
Bye.
And catch you later. Bye-bye.
See ya.